Live here tonight is Buffalo Film Commissioner Tim Clark. Appreciate you coming in again,
Well,
Tim.
thanks for having me, yeah.
I want to start here with the impact. I mean, we talked about it being so acutely felt in Hollywood,
Right.
but also felt all over the country where TV shows and films have productions, including here locally. It seems like we were on some real momentum, too. New York State approving and extending tax credits. How are you kind of processing the impact in Western New York?
Well, it is not good news industry-wide. If there is a glimmer of hope for Western New York, it's that SAG is going to, and they've teletyped this to a lot of independently produced films, that they will take on a case-by-case basis and create waivers. And what we believe here in Western New York is that the movies that we have coming here in the near term are of the smaller, independent nature. So we think, and the producers think, that they'll get waivers for those actors to come in here, which will kind of keep things going. Most of this strike and most of the concern by SAG-AFTRA is sort of aimed toward the major studios.
Yeah.
And you know, I kind of think that's the way the writers go too. This doesn't affect soap operas, weirdly, but the writer strike does, so it's kind of a moot point. They kind of cancel each other out. But as Gina pointed out in her report from Hollywood, this is the first time since 1960 that both of these were on the strike at the same time, so it's historic indeed.
When Ronald Reagan was president of the union, and got some big concessions.
And John Kennedy was running for president.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
So we talk about the impact of the strike here locally.
Right.
The other impact for our viewers who are watching are their TV shows that they love to watch.
Yeah, of course.
And of course the films. How do you see this delaying? Obviously, a lot of TV shows will be delayed into the fall, especially,
Right.
and then movies, just delayed months out, perhaps?
Well, possibly, and I mean, I think that that's what's sort of the prediction is. And if this, you know, if there's a quick conclusion to this, when I say quick, within the next month or so, I think we'll be okay. If it extends into January, like some predict, or toward the end of the year, the fourth quarter, it could be a real problem. You know, and it isn't. You know, originally there was the thought that, well, if we can't work in America, we'll go work overseas. But you know, SAG-AFTRA has some deep roots, 160,000 actors. So it's going to affect this very, very worldwide in status, and it'll shut down this industry indeed. But you know, for the most part, and I just yesterday toured 2 film sound stages here in Western New York, one on Niagara and West Ferry, and they're continuing to construct that in hopes that this strike gets over with, and hopefully they'll be shooting movies in there by the fourth quarter of this year.
And once a strike ends, then you have this big boom, right?
Oh, it is. Yeah,
everything will get going. So they want to be ready for that, I assume.
Yeah, and it's going to be a tsunami. This new tax credit is just so good for Buffalo. You know, it's funny. We have a post-production company based in Burbank that decided that Buffalo was like had the most growth potential for their to create a hub here. So we have a brand new company coming in that does post-production. We have all these new sound stages that are coming online soon. The infrastructure is here. It's just when all this labor strife, clears up, I think we'll be. I think we're going to go at 100 miles an hour.
Tim, I've only got 10 seconds, or 10. I've got 30 seconds
Okay.
left. 10 would be very fast. What do you think is the biggest sticking point here? Gina got into a few of them. Is this really, at the end of the day, about the whole streaming and residuals thing?
It is, right. It is mostly about streaming and residuals. The actors feel as though the companies take too much money and they're not participating, or they're not, passing it on to the workers. And then there is this looming thing, and it is a real thing, and we should all be aware of this AI thing, this artificial intelligence thing.
Yeah.
It is possible that actors who, die or who retire or whatever could, their image could live on forever and ever and ever. And what's even worse is AI as it relates to writers.
Yeah.
That could be the end of writers for sure. So, I think these little things, we're just trying to look at these things and peck at them a little bit. But, it's a number of these issues, and the streamers and the platforms have to realize that they've got to come to middle ground very, very quickly.
We'll be following it closely. Buffalo Film Commissioner Tim Clark, thanks so much for coming in and helping us understand the impact here.
Of course, it's a privilege to be here. Thanks.
Thank you.